for screenwriting. And The Ranger was actually the idea and the script of my classmate, Jocko Ferrino. And I just loved it because it was like punks versus a park ranger. It was already super colorful, and you know, it just brought to mind all these like comic book visuals. We graduated school and we got real jobs and paid our rent and fed ourselves and things like that. And then it took a couple years before I started working for a production company of producing movies, and I started to think about what I wanted to direct. And I remembered his script, so I called him and asked if we could like work on it together and, you know, update it. Like, let's do it. So he found like his old script, and then we both worked on it for a couple years together until we felt it was ready to shoot. So he's one of my best friends, and we're so collaborative, and he understood that like when it came to directing, my word was the final word, and he was super respectful, and he's just been like the biggest cheerleader of it throughout the entire process. And when he came to set, he was just like watching with like bright eyes and just like excited that we were like making our movie. It's a lot of different influences come together. So, you know, I love like Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween. I also love like punk movies from the 80s, like Class of 1984 and Return of the Living Dead. I also love like slashers of like the 90s, like Scream and I Know You Did Last Summer. So it was just kind of combining all these things. I really wanted to take like Return of the Living Dead and clash it with Smokey the Bear PSAs and do it all in this really colorful comic book kind of way. You know, like when I was growing up, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was my favorite television show. So I've always been very attracted to these like strong and complicated female characters, and it was always the intention that, you know, you have all these outrageous like punks and crazy park ranger, but it's all centered around Chelsea, her character, and her trying to like uncover her past and discover herself. I was at South by Southwest when we were casting for The Ranger, and my casting director said like, oh, go check out this movie, The Transfiguration. I think that Chloe would be really good for The Ranger. So I went to it and I agreed. She's amazing in Transfiguration, and we had a meeting at South by, and we totally clicked and bonded, and she really liked the script, and yeah, we kind of decided then that she would be playing Chelsea. So we always knew we wanted to have this like crazy soundtrack. I always thought of it like I wanted to build a mixed, like you're listening to the movie and it's like a mixtape. You're listening to an old mixtape of different bands. So we worked with a music supervisor, Mida Goodwin, who used to be a band promoter in the 80s, and he was tight with all these bands. So once he came on board, he started like offering me music, and I would like listen to it and try to think like what made most sense thematically with the story, and then he would go out to those bands and pitch them the project and ask if they wanted to be involved. And we have like, I forget how many, but it's like 14 different bands or something. Everybody's so cool. Everyone's like promoting it on social media. It's like really special to have these awesome bands as like part of the world of The Ranger. So we filmed in upstate New York, and we actually filmed there a lot because one of the producers has a house up there, so we know the community up there. But I'm from the city, and I've always lived in cities, so I'm personally terrified of the woods. So there were some things like we had to climb a mountain for one of the scenes, so we climbed for like 2 hours like up this mountain. There was nobody around, and I was really scared like a bear would attack us, and I was like, what do you do? What do we do, guys, if we see a bear? I don't know. I was like Googling how to fight off a bear.
Making noise?
Making noise. I started playing music on my phone to try to keep the bears away. But no bears came, so it was a success. Everybody was so cool except for me. I was the one person that was like nervous. Everyone else was having so much fun. It was like summer camp. It was in the woods. I was really eager to edit the Ranger because I had edited short things before, but I'd never edited a feature. But I just felt this like I really wanted to use this experience to edit my first feature, and I just really wanted.
It's like your baby.
It's my baby. I just wanted to be in a room alone with my footage and just like sit with my footage and
Are you listening to some music from the movie?
Absolutely. It was just like a very important aspect for me. But then I brought on my good friend to help. After I did my cut, I brought on an outside. But actually, my co-editor was also our key grip on the movie. So she was, was part of the process throughout as well.
It's springtime in Blackwood Point National Park. Here's what to know before you go. Bring a map. You could get lost out there. Watch your step so you don't get caught in the snags and brambles. Use the buddy system. The woods are wild and full of predators. And most importantly, keep noise to a minimum. This isn't a place for you kids to party.
What went wrong?
See you soon.
So happy.
I've always wanted to direct. I've always wanted to make movies. With every job I had, I was trying to get closer to directing. So my first job out of college was working for a television company in the marketing team, and it was a horror TV company. But it introduced me to like horror as an industry. From there, I started working for this production company, and I told them I really want to learn how to produce. So they brought me under their wing, and they taught me how to produce, and I produced a couple films for them. Eventually, I said, "Hey guys, I have this idea, this script that my friend wrote, and I want to direct this." And then they were very supportive in helping me find the financing, and we came to Frontiers and we pitched it, and this is where we teamed up with some other producers and we made the film. But honestly, like Fantasia and Frontiers are amazing, and were so helpful in the development of this project and in getting it seen by the industry, like the industry people that come here. Get specifically, when you have a project that you're trying to get financing for, it's just a great place to pitch. Or to do the same thing, to make cool horror movies. Yeah, I mean, my advice would be to be on as many film sets as possible, be around film as much as possible, talk to crew members, because when you're really in that world, when you like immerse yourself in that world, you see that everyone on a film set is like speaking a language, and you want to be able to speak that language also. And also, like, I've met some of my like greatest collaborators from working on film sets, and those are like relationships that you bring with you, I want to work with these people for a very long time. I'm also a producer, so Larry Fessenden, who plays the uncle in the movie, he's a filmmaker, and he owns the production company that I work for, Glass-Eyed Pit. So he just directed a movie, a modern-day Frankenstein movie called Depraved. So we're editing that right now.